Opposition leader Sussan Ley is waiting to hear back from the Prime Minister this morning after offering to team up and fast-track changes to make Australia's childcare safer. The pledge comes in the wake of horrific abuse allegations against Melbourne childcare worker Joshua Brown. And with Parliament not due to meet until later this month, Ms Ley is hoping a collaborative approach in developing new laws will speed up their rollout. And Opposition leader Sussan Ley joins us now. Good morning to you. Do you think the PM will be on board with this?
I really hope so, because like so many parents, grandparents across the country, and my grandchildren are in childcare, and I know that when my children drop them off to places where they trust they will be safe, this is an incredible betrayal. I just felt physically sick when I heard this. So I have written to the Prime Minister in good faith to offer our constructive engagement in the lead up to Parliament returning so that we can have legislation ready to go to actually act once and for all to do what I think every parent would expect and every community member would expect, to make sure our children are safe in childcare settings.
The final report from a Royal Commission into child sexual abuse was actually delivered in December 2017, at the time the Coalition Turnbull government was in power. Isn't this a failure of the Coalition?
Well, following that Royal Commission recommendations, there were working with children checks across the country that were not unified, and they're still not quite unified. We started the work, Labor continued the work last time to get that working with children check the same so that predators couldn't cross state borders. Now, we certainly need that work to be accelerated, but this incident, Nat, is not the only one. In August 2022, something similar happened, and following that, the Albanese government said they would introduce new measures which are not designed to take effect until September. So I think that Jason Clare has acknowledged that more needed to be done and more should be done. But my point, Nat, is that this is not about the blame game. The Education Minister, Jason Clare, is a good person. My shadow education spokesperson, John O'Doniam, is a good person, and they will work together.
It's not about the blame game, but in 2017, you were handed a report. The government you were in was handed a report. It took 5 years to do. There were 8,000 sessions. It cost this country, these taxpayers, nearly $400 million. The recommendations were that it was a national working with children scheme. There was a national office. There was a register of childcare workers. Then for 5 years, the government you were in did what? You had a chance to save our children. What'd you do?
Progress those reforms with the states.
But none of these. The people who were in that Royal Commission are saying it's a failure.
With respect, our federated model means that the states actually enact this legislation at state government level, and with so many issues, states have to come to the table, sit with the Commonwealth and agree. Now,
so you're blaming the states?
I'm not blaming the states. I'm saying that right now we need to put measures in place to address this. Other things have happened in the interim. Measures were set up by the Labor government, and they actually aren't due to start until September.
So what was done with your government, though? You had 5 years to address this after a Royal Commission.
The recommendations took a couple of years to come down, and then we started the work and Labor picked it up and continued it. Again, I'm not stepping back from saying that things need to be done, but I am recognising that state governments do own a lot of this. For example, the Victorian state government has, if I can describe them, weaker working with children checks than any other state, and we all need the states to step up and own this, because if they just say, as they often do in these instances, we want our system to prevail, then they're not acting either. But what I'm saying right here, right now, Nat, is I'm ready to work with the Prime Minister to put legislation in place in the upcoming Parliament and do whatever we need to. Okay. Now, it won't necessarily cover every single working with children check. That is still owned by the state government. But it will cover other measures that can take place in childcare centres that the Commonwealth may be able to hold some levers of control.
Yep, and many of those were recommended many years ago. Sussan, thank you very much.